Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just doing a very quick recap video or an update video on the cryptocurrencies. We'll be doing a second video shortly. Just a quick update on the other ones as well, in terms of the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, ADA, which is Cardano, XLM, which is Stellar. We'll look at Doge, and then we'll look at XRP BTC as well. Okay. So I suppose first and foremost, looking at Bitcoin compared to last week. Just going to go optics, just going to go full screen so people can see it. The inverted head and shoulders structure completed. We got the breakout, we got the pullback, and we got the extension. I suppose the key point or the key note from last week was that price action, even in just a couple of days, topped out at 59. We did see a little bit of a temporary selling momentum back into this 53 level. So you can drag this across. We can kind of categorize this here. 53 level held again. And now we're seeing price action move higher. So near term, we're moving higher. With fairly rapid pace. We've taken it 55, 56 level. We're now 57.50. So I think once we break through this 59 level, I'll be looking for a continued run to the upside. And we'll be looking for this kind of 61, 62 level to be tested near term. I suppose just drawing out these levels near term, go on a wider view, this is kind of what we can see here, right? We can see that there's been significant consolidation, choppy price action back and forth into this level here. And price action now is trying to go higher after its break of this previous yellow area here. All right. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on Bitcoin, running back into 59 from a near-term analysis. And then if price action can get a break above 59, I'll be looking at 61 to the 62 level to be tested near term. All right. Now, in terms of 62, it would need to break through this kind of 61, 62 level liquidity shelf to springboard to the upside to create new higher highs. But at the moment, 59, 60, 61, 62 level, this little area here, drag it across. And then from there, then we can reevaluate to see if we're going to go higher or attempt to go higher from there. All right. But 59 is definitely the key near-term level that we can kind of look at and focus on in the short term. And then moving across to Ethereum, massive bullish momentum on Ethereum. Price action continued higher. So this would have been, this was the previous kind of consolidation level between kind of 2,200, even deeper into this 2,000 and 1,900 liquidity shelf. And I suppose the near-term level at 2.6, we broke out, we retested, and price action then continued into this massive surge of upside price action. Now, near-term, when we look at kind of the optics over the last day or two, kind of towards the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, so kind of the tail end of the weekend into the mid parts of this week, we can see price action kind of holding this 3.2 level. We've got a bit of a wick rejection. We've broken through it, wick, and a bit of a wick here. So we've got kind of near-term support area is around about this 3.2 level, and upside spikes is around about kind of 3.450, even if you want to extend it into 3.5. So I did notice we've got one, we pulled back, we got ahead, and we did get the kind of the third shoulder here, but we never really broke back. We're now in consolidation, and it's interesting that when you see kind of a structure like this that's developed, you're looking for that right shoulder, you're looking for that rejection, and then you're ultimately looking for a break of this neckline to start pulling back. But we can see here at the moment, price action just continuing to remain sideways bound and in this kind of consolidated range. So I suppose there's been a lot of emphasis, particularly on the Robinhood's 7. Ethereum Classic has gone on a complete bull run as well, which is a fork of Ethereum. So it's also worth paying attention to that as well for kind of correlations and stuff like that. All right. Now, moving across to, I'm going to do Cardano first, because Cardano is something I haven't previously looked at. And I suppose, first of all, the optics, when you look at the weekly, massive kind of consolidation for this 2-3 year period, which we saw in the cryptos. And then we saw very, very sharp upside price action into this kind of $1 to $1.50 level. Now, again, when we go down to the daily, noticeably big bullish breakout, massive move higher, very, very sharp wick. Okay, now it's curious now to see if price action can hold this dollar level, because if price action breaks this dollar level, I really would not be surprised to see kind of a complete collapse in this one. But at the moment, 150, we've got wick, bit of a head, and price action consolidating kind of below this 150. So the 140 to 150 level is kind of key. It's pinning price action in the near term, and then on the underneath, the $1 is kind of holding as well. So we're very much kind of consolidated, range bound at the moment. All right. Now moving across to Doge very, very quickly, just before I go back to XRP and Stellar. Complete bull run, completed the 618 fib level, and it's noticeably now, like, look, price action fibs topped out, rejected the 618 level, consolidated, broke out, and went on another bull run. We noted that last week. We had noted 55, we'd noted 70. Both levels were taken. Okay, we have seen price action since pullback, and now realistically, what I would be looking for is just moving these fibs in kind of dynamic fashion. I would be looking for kind of pullbacks now. So realistically, the 50% fib is now back, roughly speaking, where these previous all-time highs were here now. So if we zoom in, we can see wick consolidation. So the 50 level does look like a realistically viable pullback area. Very, very sharp rug pull though, because we've ascended very quickly. And then price action has since pulled back nearly 15 cents. Like this is massive volatility here. So I think near term should continue. If we apply the same theory, we've obviously made a new set of highs, then we should be looking for price action to migrate back into this kind of 35 to 40 cent level, consolidate, and then look for that next phase of bullish momentum again. But at the moment, yeah, that initially already, we know Elon Musk is continuing to hype up this coin, so it'll be interesting to see kind of what comes of it over the next week or so. But definitely massive bullish momentum. Again, Doge is listed on Robinhood, and is one of the big seven. So that's obviously helping to kind of funnel more liquidity, more momentum into it, into this meme coin. All right. So last but not least, when we look at XRP USD, so what we would have done initially is when we broke out, we did identify this kind of a short-term kind of pullback area. Price action held, largely speaking, held $1. We broke through, and now we sit kind of realistically below this 162.50 level that we've noticed previously. Now, just from an optical perspective, or a technical perspective as well, you could say price action, we just use this kind of TL just as a little bit of a confluence level. And we can see here clearly we've got rejection, we've got a bit of a pullback, and price action has rejected it again. So this area here around about 162.50 is going to be key. And I think realistically, if price action breaks through 170, we're going to get that spike higher. So for the moment, I think it's a case of assess price action, whether we reject here and come back, or whether price action can kind of generate some sort of bullish momentum through this kind of 162.50 level that we have highlighted, and take out and close above 170. If we can take out 170, well then absolutely, I'll be looking for this continuation to the upside very, very quickly. So hopefully we see it. I'm a long-term bull, I'm a long-term holder on Ripple, so absolutely, if this breaks, I'll be looking at these kind of levels, 240, 330, and I'll probably even be looking at kind of the 650, $7 level in kind of the longer term. So again, being patient. However, at the moment, we haven't arrived at that scenario. We're still very much kind of curtailed in this consolidation area. So we just have to be kind of conscious of that as well. All right. From a downside perspective, we did kind of have consolidation here, as you can see. Big wick, price action takes out the wick, and now we've kind of set ourselves kind of these near-term lows. So again, the levels of around about kind of 143, 144 is kind of key near term, as to is the 130. So I suppose your levels are your 144, your 130 area here, and then this area liquidity down here at around about $1 or so. Okay, so these are your three near-term levels. If we collapse and break below that in the coming days, which we may well do, we've seen spikes on both sides, so we just have to be kind of conscious of both levels. I would be looking for a pullback into 76. So I'm presenting both scenarios here. I'm also presenting accurate kind of scenarios that could arise that we have to be conscious of. So in trading and investing, it's not just a case of having one bias and sticking with it. We have to be fluid and in line with kind of what the markets are doing, because if we have a singular solitary bias and we get caught out, well then you're going to be on the wrong side of it. But generally speaking, I think in times like this, the dollar costing average approach is very, very good in terms of kind of getting kind of sustainable marketable prices in some of these coins as well. All right. And last but not least, in terms of this, just before we go to XRP BTC, is Stellar. And Stellar is having, excuse the pun, a stellar run today. Literally price action in the consolidation areas that we've noted previously. We had initially come off kind of this 56 level. We did pull back into 50. We held 50. And we have seen another continuation higher into the 60 level today. So very, very sharp run today. Now, I suppose near term, what I would expect is, given that we've broken out of this kind of 56 level, I would like to see price action come back, retest this 56 level with the viewpoint of price action holding here and then potentially moving higher back into, I suppose, this 65 to 68 cent level up here. Okay. Now, again, when we look on the 1 hour, we can see it very, very clearly as well. We can kind of see left shoulder. We've got a bit of a head. We've got price action back to neckline, a very brief right shoulder here, and then we've breached the neckline and we're pulling back. Okay, so it's an inverted head and shoulder structure. Retest the neckline. You're looking for that to cement itself and hold itself at or above this level. And then we're looking for that upside continuation then accordingly. All right, so you just need to be conscious of that and not kind of rush in just because it's moving higher. We have to have a clear plan. We have to have clear discipline. Otherwise, all kind of focus and all your trading plan and strategy goes completely out the window. And I don't just mean trading, I do mean investing as well. So we've got this here just to illustrate. This is kind of the structure. Now it's a little bit messy, but this would be the ideal kind of play here. All right. So kind of looks something like that. And I think realistically, when we look at it as well, you're looking for extensions. We did hold this 35 level as well. All right. So that's obviously fundamentally important. So again, as we said, looking for the pullback, looking for a retest of this level, near term for price action to hold at or above it. And then looking for that continuation long. In terms of upside targets, am I in Stellar? Yes, I have a small proportion diversified into this as well. But when we look across, we're at kind of relatively all-time highs again. So I suppose it's just a case of the daily closure as well. We've got daily rejection here at 56. We've got another daily rejection at 56. So I suppose the daily closure today would be key, because if we see an upside spike and this evening price action closes back below kind of this 55, 56 level or 56, 56 and a half level, we could very easily move lower as well. So this could effectively be kind of a stop hunt or a false move to the upside. So we do need, I suppose, this area around about 56 to kind of hold into today's close as well. All right. So last but not least, moving on to XRP BTC, which is measured in Satoshis, which we've noted before. Very, very similar to that of XRP USD. So we've seen that as BTC has rallied and XRP has remained somewhat flat in the last kind of a couple of 4 hour candles, we're seeing that little bit of a pullback. So we had this inverted head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, a very weak right shoulder, break, pull back to retest, price action now trying to continue higher, but we're seeing a little bit of choppy consolidation between 2.5 and 2.8, 2,800 Satoshi. So this is kind of where price action is holding at the near term. As I said before, I want to see this area around about 3,000 being breached to allow that upside spike. So this really is your kind of your near-term highs. If this level here goes at 3,000, this should go on a bit of a bull run. Now in terms of where are we looking, upside targets 3.6, 3.7 area for around about the 276 extension, 4,500 at the 61.8 level. And then I suppose above that, then you're looking at 6,000 for the 127. Okay, so these are just kind of fib extension levels, but at the moment, very much still consolidated. It's interesting as well when we go down to the 1 hour, we can see price action Sorry, folks, just let me tidy this up. We can see very choppy price action, consolidation, upside spike, bit of a pullback, and now price action is looking to maybe go higher again. Now, similarly, if you wanted to do, excuse me, if you wanted to do short-term fib, we see price action just didn't quite come to the 61.8. So I'm just going to delete that. I'm not overly impressed with that one. So I think at the moment, once kind of price action remains above this yellow area, we can even see here after the pullback, there's another short kind of pendulum area here. If we just draw it out, we can see here this level is has held, sorry, should I say pretty firm. So we've got a pullback. If you want to even plot the fib then on this one here, if you're going to do a double bottom structure here, you can then look for, yeah, that becomes a little bit more appropriate. So I suppose that's quite interesting here, this 2650 Satoshi level. We can see price action now is trying to go higher. So I would expect price action now to try to continue moving higher and look to test these near-term highs around about 3,000. So it'll be worth kind of keeping an eye on that as well. All right. So that's a quick recap on the cryptos. I hope these are useful, because I know there is a lot more people nowadays in the retail space playing particular dominance to or particular focus to the cryptos. So I think it's important to look at these as well, just purely to help people out and maybe give them a little bit of a broader viewpoint in terms of what they're already looking at. So absolutely, I hope it's useful. I hope it's helpful for you. And we will be doing kind of another video towards the end of the week, and probably Saturday. All right. Have a great week, everyone, and speak to you soon.